figures are great! Welcome to the newest edition of TNInews with your host, JC. Hey everybody, JC here, and welcome to a Monday live news video. And we are now in San Diego Comic-Con week, just a few days away from the event officially kicking off on Wednesday. So just a reminder that this will be my last regular scheduled video. Normally I do videos, the live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then a regular news video on Friday. But this week it's going to be different. This will be the only live stream from here. And then as far as the schedule goes for videos, it will be kind of sporadic throughout the week. So maybe we'll do something on Wednesday, but maybe not. And again, I definitely would say if you don't see any videos until Saturday, that's possible, just because preview night is very hectic as far as going around getting all the images and everything. And then Thursday and Friday are pretty packed with panels. Now you might see some panel streaming on the channel here. MCU Collector, I'm going to be working with MCU Collector some, so he might be streaming some of the panels. That's assuming they let us stream the panels. It's not entirely clear whether they will or not, but we'll direct you, like, for that type of thing. Just check the websites and we will direct you to where they're streamed. So little bit of things like that are up in the air. Also going to be working with Shartimus Prime. He's going to be helping out with some coverage as well. So he's going to be doing some interviews and stuff. So we got a lot of stuff hopefully planned for you guys over the course of this week for San Diego. So hopefully you guys will enjoy all the coverage, whether it's here on YouTube or on the websites or what have you. But again, just note, as far as just the normal schedule of videos this week, other than today, it will be pretty no video definitely tomorrow. I'll be doing my final prep to get ready to travel to San Diego, and then Wednesday I'll be traveling to San Diego, and then Wednesday evening / night is preview night. So, but that there you go. Let's see who is in the house today. So we've got Zim in the house. What is going on? I can't wait to spend all my money on San Diego Comic-Con plastic goodness. Yes. Whether it's exclusives or just pre-orders that go up during the course of the week or early next week from Comic-Con, I expect there's going to be a lot of purchasing going on, myself included probably. Mr. Allmine, what is up? Collectible Fun, what's up? E. Leo, good to see you, my friend. Eric is in the house. Good to see you. Judge Dreads is in the house. Greetings. So, yeah, so I'm pretty pumped. I mean, this is my first return to Comic-Con in 4 years. I mean, the last Comic-Con I went to was, I want to say 2019, right before COVID hit. And then, of course, for 2 years, COVID shut down San Diego Comic-Con. So 2020 and 2021, there actually was no virtual Comic-Con, but no physical Comic-Con. And then 22 and 23, I did not go. I was going to go last year, but then last minute I had to cancel my plans because of things that went on with my dad. But this year, definitely should be able to make it. Everything is all set, so I am definitely pretty pumped up. Rashid is in the house. Only plan on making one San Diego Comic-Con purchase this year. So we're talking exclusives, right? I will be honest with you. As far as exclusives go this year, there aren't really any that I'm just I've got to have it. Some years it's like that, and others maybe not as much. And this year, I got to say, it's definitely not as enthusiastic about most of the exclusives that I've seen. Now, the G.I. Joe Classified Was a Man Cobra Commander is one I wouldn't mind getting my hands on, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to stand and, sign up in the portal and stand in line and all that kind of thing. So I probably will just end up, trying to grab it online after the convention. And then if I don't get it for whatever reason, if it were to sell out before I could get it or whatever, I wouldn't really lose sleep over it. So that's one like wouldn't mind having, but again, at the same time, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. Same thing with the Marvel Legend one, the Death's Head, though I'm not even entirely sure that's an actual convention exclusive. I feel like that's just going to be made available first at Comic-Con and then elsewhere after the show. So that one is, again, if I can get my hands on it, easily, then I will. But otherwise, um, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't get it for whatever reason. And beyond that, I really can't think of anything I've seen that I've just like I'm wanting to have. It's not to say there isn't some cool stuff being offered. It's just for me personally, it just doesn't have quite the strong appeal that I've seen with stuff in the years past. Really have no interest in this year's Transformers or Star Wars exclusives. The Darth Maul is actually not bad. I guess maybe that's one that if I was able to get, I would. With the Sith speeder, but yeah, just Masters of the Universe. I'm not really doing Origins anymore, so even though I kind of like that Too Bad figure, that one's not one high up on my priority list. Rashid says just the Goku and Gohan set, so a Dragon Ball Z fan with the Tomasi Nation stuff. P Bandai later, might look at Death's Head later. Judge Dreads, I have a lot of pre-orders coming that I really want. So I've got some pre-orders. So I got a shipping notice from Target that the Tiger Force set, the 4-wheeler set has shipped, the Tiger Paw. So that I'm guessing, I don't know if it'll be here before I leave, but it'll be here when I get back. I was able to grab a Warbird yesterday. I haven't checked to see if they're still available, but they were up. They went up like late Saturday night and were up at least until late. The Warbird Marvel Legend figure was up until at least late Sunday morning. And it may even still be available. Like I said, I haven't checked to see if it's sold out, but that was available for a fairly decent amount of time, and it's hitting physical stores. But I was able to snag one. So that one I think has a shipping date of like early August. So I guess I won't have that one in hand for a couple of weeks. What else? So in my pile of loot, which I have not yet sent, had sent to me yet, but I've got waiting G.I. Joe at Big Bad Toy Store, of course, G.I. Joe Classified Doc, G.I. Joe Classified Jinx, Transformer Studio Series Dinobot Swoop, and I want to say there was something else in the pile of loot, but now I can't think of it. But I'm waiting, since it wouldn't get here until after I left for San Diego anyway. I'm waiting to see if the retro classified Beachhead comes in stock, and I think there was one other G.I. Joe that I feel like should probably be coming in stock soon. So I was just going to wait and see if those come in. Because it's always like you get your pile of loot and then you have it sent. And then as soon as you have it sent, something else comes in stock. It always seems to happen to me. Rashid says his Warbird came in the mail. So I assume you pre-ordered it when it originally went up. Which, yeah, I've been hearing people getting those. So that's cool. Now, the one thing I am, as far as pre-orders go during Comic-Con, I will be backing almost definitely the Haslab G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Rattler. And speaking of that, I wanted to segue into showing you this image, which I cannot confirm if this is legit or not, but I figure we would take a look at it anyway. And it does seem to indicate we are getting a Cobra Rattler. Now, as I understand it, and thanks to the Full Force podcast for the heads up on this, these images, I guess, were shown to a focus group, and I don't know when, and I don't know why they're leaking them out online now. But so the thing, if that is true, the thing to take away here is this is, while likely a pretty decent confirmation that we are getting the Cobra Rattler, what we're seeing in these images may very much differ from the final product if this is from a focus group that was shown early on when they were planning out the Rattler. So again, I don't know how much stock I would put in these images if this is how the Rattler is going to look. Again, I can't even confirm that these images are real. I guess they popped up on Reddit. We talked about the previous images that had shown up like this, which I still have my doubts about. But again, whether this is real or not, I do feel like, Cobra Rattler is what we're going to be getting. So, and like, you'll notice like wings seem to be different on image F as opposed to C and M, which appear to be more classic looking. So, or maybe it's just the missiles are on the end, which is kind of weird because that's not something you would see on the original Rattler. I'm not sure, but again, even if these were actually shown by Hasbro, these are probably, just like some basic design that they threw together for the focus group, and the final product may differ quite a lot, which is why I didn't actually post about this on TNI, because I'm just not convinced this is what we're actually going to see when the Haslab actually launches. But I figure, what the hell, we'll talk about it here. But this is the thing I will almost definitely back, when it launches on Thursday. So as far as like pre-orders or whatever this week, that is the top of my list. Judge Dredd says Ghost Rider just dropped on Amazon. Nice. I'm still waiting for mine to come in at Big Bad Toys store. Again, I'll probably just wait for it to come in. Hopefully it'll come in while I'm at San Diego. And Judge Dredd says, I never use pile of loot. I want to. I like the pile of loot because it helps save on shipping, and especially when you got a bunch of pre-orders that generally come in at one time. It's definitely nice. So, yeah, I always use the pile of loot. I often, like, if it's something I really want, like, I don't let it just, at most, my pile of loot's usually maybe sit around for a week, but generally I don't let them sit around for weeks, because I don't have that much patience usually. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's what else we got to talk about today? Well, let's jump over to Marvel Legends. So I'm sure if you spend any time online this weekend, at least on any action figure focus groups, you've probably seen some of these images floating around. So and I talked about this briefly on Friday's video, but since Friday, we've gotten much better looks at these figures. So the Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine movie, Wolverine and Deadpool figures. So as I understand it, and I don't know the original source of this particular image that gives us our best look that I've seen, at least, of the Deadpool figure, but there was a bunch of products on display. There was a press junket for the movie a couple of days ago, and there was a bunch of Deadpool movie related products out, including these two Marvel Legend figures. And so, like, the original place that posted images from this event was Screen Rant, but they didn't take any close-ups of these figures. So we just saw some blurry images, basically, of these two figures. But again, this popped up. I don't know the original source of this particular image, but it does give us our best look at both the Wolverine and the Deadpool figure. Well, not the best look of Wolverine, but our best look of the Deadpool figure that Hasbro's going to be doing for the new movie, which looks, I think as most of us expected, it looks very similar to previous movie Deadpool, only the colors are lighter. Some other differences, but it is pretty much just Deadpool as we've come to expect it. Now, the Wolverine figure, we have continued to see images pop up from. So somebody overseas, Leo something or other. Sorry, I don't, I don't know the translation, but I'm gonna shoot. He has posted this turnaround video. He's gotten his hands on the figure, and so this is from a different source than the first image. Again, this seems to be somebody who's gotten this figure from overseas. I don't know if straight from the factory or what, but he's gotten his hands on it, and you've got that Hugh Jackman head looks fantastic. The masked head looks pretty good. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a must-have for myself. We're still waiting for Hasbro to officially announce it and tell us when it's going to be available. So, when those details come, and they may wait until San Diego to tell us, I don't know. But when those details do come, I'll be sure to let you guys know over on Marvelous News. But the Wolverine, like the Deadpool, I might get the Deadpool, but the Wolverine, I definitely must get. I have the previous movie Deadpool that Hasbro did, and while the colors are brighter and stuff, I don't know. I'm on the fence about Deadpool, but the Wolverine is definitely a must get for me. Now, one other image I want to share with you, again, going back to that event where somebody got more close-up images of Wolverine, and again, I don't know the exact origin of these images. They pop up online and they get passed all around on social media, and nobody bothers to say where they got it from. And there's no watermarks on these, and so it's very difficult to try and track down. And I have not, other than Screen Rant on social media posting some images from this, whatever this event was, I've not really seen anyone else covering it. So I don't know if there was supposed to be like an embargo on this event or what, but I didn't get invited to the event, so I don't know. But anyway, and this might be considered a minor spoiler for the movie. So if you don't want, I don't want to show you something that you might consider a spoiler. So you might want to turn away for a couple minutes. I don't think it's really that big a spoiler, but just to play safe. Okay, so we get to see the back of the packaging of the Wolverine figure. Actually, sorry. And you can see, like, this JB person, I don't think is the original source of this image, but he posted it up on social media. So there you go. But the Wolverine, you can see on the back of the packaging. Let me flip to the screen so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So Deadpool, Wolverine, and then the third figure, I'm assuming this is telling us the other. So it's not appear these two figures are part of an entire wave. We have seen indications before of a Deadpool wave coming this year, and we didn't really know whether it was a comic wave, a movie wave, or maybe even a mixture of both. So, but these particular figures that we're seeing now do not appear to be part of that in any way. These pretty much seem to be standalones, or a set of three different figures. But you'll notice over here, Headpool, I mean, that's pretty clearly Headpool. But I can't imagine they're just going to do a head, the head as a standalone figure. So I've seen some people suggest maybe it's a variant of the Deadpool figure with the Headpool head instead, which I could see maybe. But, that's a little bit of a mystery. Well, that figure has not surfaced anywhere that I'm aware of. So just the Wolverine and Deadpool figure. So again, this is something we might learn more about at San Diego Comic-Con. But again, there you go. Just looking to see what you guys are saying. Artistic, what's cracking? Rashid says, looks like Hasbro went all out on that Wolverine. Yeah, I agree. That might honestly be one of the best Wolverine figures that they've ever done from either comic or movie, and definitely for movie, which makes sense. I mean, how many years and years and years have people been waiting for a Hugh Jackman Wolverine and an actual Wolverine costume? So Eric Ellman says, show it. Rashid says, as unlikely as it is, I'd like to see a movie. See, I don't like Lady Deadpool, which we've seen in the trailer, X-23, even though we don't know whether she's actually going to don a superhero costume in this movie. We saw her at the end of the final trailer, but remains to be seen whether she actually dons her X-23 outfit or not. The girl from the Logan movie. But especially if she does put the outfit on, I would not be surprised if at some point we don't see like Lady Deadpool. The the dog might come with Deadpool. We haven't seen like what accessories Deadpool is going to come with, so I would imagine maybe Dogpool will come with the Deadpool figure, but that's just a guess. But some of those, the Cassandra character, I would think would be due for a figure maybe at some point. Obviously, Hasbro, generally with movie figures, you see them released before the movie, but because this is an R-rated movie, that's not really as critical, which is good in the standpoint that Hasbro can wait instead of going by early concept art that often changes. They can wait until they see the final product or the final versions from the movie before they start producing the figure. It means we have to wait longer, but it does mean the figure should be more accurate to what we see in the actual movie. So it seems like that's definitely what's going on here. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility of, especially because I feel like this is, I would be very surprised if this movie isn't the biggest box office bringer in of the year. This is probably going to be this one's going to I don't know if it'll shatter all-time records, but it will definitely, I feel like, be the biggest, the movie with the biggest box office take of the entire year. So, and probably, I wouldn't even be surprised if it does better than the first two Deadpool movies, just because it's got Wolverine in it. So, I don't think, even if right now this is all Hasbro gives us from the movie, I feel like it's pretty safe to say that we will end up seeing more figures from the movie at some point. Maybe sooner than later, but if not sooner, then I would definitely say later. Eric Elman, I love the Wolverine figure. Did they show? Yeah. Well, we got a pretty good look. You must be late, Eric. But yes, I'll go back to it for you. So this is our best look at Deadpool. No, they don't. This is from that press junket that apparently happened a couple of days ago, where we saw both of these figures on display at a shelf. Somebody finally took a close-up picture of the two Marvel Legend figures. However, I don't know the original source for this image. It does not appear to be from the same source that originally posted the images from the junket, which was Screen Rant. But again, somebody somewhere posted this image and it ended up spreading online. So this gives us our first real look at the Deadpool figure that's not super small and blurry. Obviously, I don't think we're seeing the accessories or anything like that. No packaging for this one yet. So that's where I say we might get Dogpool. But but yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, definitely brighter red than the previous Deadpool movie figure that they did. And I, like I say, I'd be pretty surprised if they don't include Dogpool with that figure. Judge Dredd says he's more excited for Fantastic Four. So it'll probably be a little while before we see any Fantastic Four figures. We might get some glimpses of that movie during San Diego. Or Marvel Studios is returning to San Diego Comic Con this year after several year hiatus. So they will be at Hall H on Saturday. So I wouldn't be surprised if Fantastic Four isn't one of the focal points for that panel. But as far as toys, I definitely don't expect anything this week. This week for that. Dark Hero 18 from El Salvador. What's up, my friend? Very far away. All right, so that's. Oh wait, I actually do. I was gonna say that's it for Marvel, but I actually have a few other things. So for you MAFEX fans, so not only San Diego happening this week, overseas there's this toy exhibition from the company that makes the MAFEX stuff, and so I don't even think it starts until like tomorrow. But images have already started to leak out. So again, I don't know where all these images originated from. I'm guessing probably one of the overseas Weebio or something like that. But so but people of course have plastered them all over social media. Um, but several new Marvel figures have been shown at this event for you MAFEX fans. So not great images because again, somebody's like sneaking these images out. It seems, but Jubilee from the X-Men is, and this guy on Twitter is not the original source for these images, but there you go. But again, Jim Lee Mafex figure appears to be coming to join your X-Men, and then Age of Apocalypse figures, Mafex Age of Apocalypse figures. So you can see Cyclops and X-Man, Nate Gray, Magneto, Patch, or Wolverine. These two Deadpool, these two are Age of Apocalypse, but these four are. So I guess we're going to start getting Mafex Age of Apocalypse figures. So that's pretty interesting. Then we have for you Spider-Man fans, Spider-Man 2099, and then again, really terrible image. Those are comic images, but we're getting nobody's taking a good image of it, but we're getting. Well, these are the boys, but Venom 2099 as well. So that one is apparently coming. If you're into Mafex, the boys, A Train. I think we've seen all these others, but A Train. I think this is the first time we're seeing A Train. For Hush, we're getting Robin, Ra's al Ghul, another Batman, and another Batman. So more Hush figures. And the Shazam stuff. Not all super exciting, but let's see. Oh, here's the best look I've seen for the Venom. Again, super blurry, but as this event officially kicks off this week, I'm sure we'll get better looks at some of these, assuming they allow pictures to be taken. But For you Aquaman fans, we've got Black Manta from the Flash movie. And then one more I wanted to show you. Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad movie. So if you're into MAFEX, there's a little sneak preview of what's coming. Let's see what else. Hot Toys revealed a ton of figures last night and this morning. If you're into Hot Toys, so some of these are like summer exclusives. But Iron Man 2 Black Widow figure. That looks pretty good. Iron Man from Iron Man 3. Oh, for you, I talked about this on Friday, but for you Figure Arts fans, we've got Spider-Man India for the SH Figure Arts line. That's available for pre-order now. Anything else pretty old. Another thing I wanted to share. Oh, Spider-Man 2 from Endgame. Like Hot Toys announced 20 new figures today. It's crazy. And most of them are kind of like reissue type figures, with modifications. Oh, and then Dan Young from Hasbro released this new image of that Professor Xavier Marvel Legend figure in the armor with all the other X-Men in the yellow and blue outfits. So you can see in there, kind of recreating a little bit that cover. I forget what issue exactly it was, but from the X-Men comics. And this, of course, will be the Xavier will be going up this Thursday during Walmart Collector Con. So, which is starts at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So, if you want that Xavier, again, it will be going up on Thursday morning for Walmart Collector Con. Eric says, the boys' figs make me want them more and more. Yeah, like when they first started doing the MAFEX boys, NECA was doing their own, and I went with the NECA ones, but now NECA has kind of piddled out. I don't think we're going to get any more boys figures from NECA. So, they were supposed to do A Train. I remember they were showing early prototypes a year or so ago, but I don't think they're going to finish that line out. So I should have gone with the MAFEX ones, but yeah, those definitely look cool. Eric Elman, Colossus for MAFEX, yeah. We should be getting a Marvel Legend one, a movie Colossus from the second Deadpool movie, first and second Deadpool movie, but that's not been officially announced. But that's something that we've seen listings for. Floor Boss says, I just commented an hour on TNI how odd it looks to have painted on the boots. The Robin, yeah. And it may be an early prototype. I don't know. NECA did a whole video about how they did, yeah, tech for making. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, but that was I want to say that might have been 2 years ago, at least a year, if not 2 years ago. So I'm not holding my breath that we're going to get any more figures from NECA for the boys series. All right, well, let's continue on, shall we, for more news. Let's get out of Marvel a little bit. So just announced, or just announced today. We've seen this, we've seen some preview images. I think Pixel Dan actually got to do a video where he gave us an early look at this thing. But this is 12-inch from Mondo, Masters of the Universe, Scaremare, and Scareglow. So you can buy these figures jointly, which is like over $700 if you buy both of them, or you can buy them individually. Scareglow, of course, glows in the dark. There's the horse. I mean, this is pretty sweet. Look, I'd have absolutely no room for this thing, but it's sweet looking. I wouldn't mind if Mattel did something like this for Masterverse. So the joint is $775 if you get both the figure and the horse. If you just go with the figure, it's $275. The horse by itself is $599. So the horse is actually. Oh wait. Did I look at that wrong? Masters of the Universe Scared Glare. Oh, that's a bundle. So what's this? I guess there's a deluxe version. Okay. I thought I guess the horse is not sold separately. Okay. So you can buy the figure by itself, but if you want the horse, you either need or is it? There's no price with just the horse, so I think you can buy the basic set with the horse and the figure for $600. You can buy just the figure for $275, or you can get the deluxe version of the horse and the figure, which is $775. But you cannot just buy the horse by itself, which I guess kind of makes sense. But this is going to be going up for pre-order on August 9th at noon Central Time. Or no, I'm sorry, that's when it ends. It's going up this week tomorrow at noon, and then the pre-orders will run until August 9th. So, and this of course will be available in the Mondo store. I'm guessing, I don't know if these will be available. Like I would say the figure itself might be available. Maybe the basic set will be available elsewhere, like Big Bad Toy Store. I'm not sure, but if you want to get it right away, Mondo's putting it up tomorrow. Todd has announced the name for his new Spawn movie, if it ever actually gets made. But the official name for the new Spawn movie that Todd has been working years on is now going to be called King Spawn. So that was announced today. And while we're on the subject of McFarlane and Spawn, not an official update for that medieval crowdsourcing Spawn, but somebody did update the Kickstarter page for it and has put this image up saying August 2024. So this will be year 3 or 4 that this thing, I feel like it's a competition. What's going to come first, the Spawn movie or the Spawn Kickstarter? But it looks like this might actually be finally going up this coming August, which I'm sure Todd will talk about in San Diego this weekend. So he's got a couple of panels this weekend. So I'm sure the official announcement for this is going to come then. But if you have been waiting years in the making for this Spawn Kickstarter, it does look like it is finally going to launch here in the next month. So like I say, we'll probably get more details on that this coming weekend at Comic-Con. Not a whole lot of other McFarlane news. This Jim Lee style posed figure, 12-inch figure, Wonder Woman. We've seen this already hit overseas, but it will be officially going up for pre-order on July 25th. Should be available, I believe, at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. We're also getting a 1/6 scale John Stewart Green Lantern statue, resin statue. That'll be going up on July 24th. The Spawn statue, I talked about this on Friday, based on Greg Capullo's artwork from Spawn Batman #1. That has gone up for pre-order today. Cost is $500. It's a 1/8 scale resin statue. You can get it at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. So, oh, and then also for you World of Warcraft fans, we've got a couple of new 112 posed figures, so basically no articulation on these, about 6 inches. Two more figures for that line, the Dwarf Hunter and Pandaren. And again, these went up for pre-order today. Cost is $30 each. So that is your McFarlane news for the day. So while we are here and while we're talking crowdsourcing, let's just take a peek at where that DC Superpowers crowdsourcing that launched last week is standing. I haven't checked on it here, so we'll take a quick look. So we're now 16 days to go and only $123,500. The minimum goal is 600,000. So it's still got decent amount of time, but definitely seems to have slowed as far as how many backers it's getting. So still got a ways to go to get to 600,000. So we'll have to see if it's able to do that or not. Could be Todd's first failed crowdsourcing campaign. All right, what else? What else we got? Simpsons. For you Jack Specifics 5-inch Simpsons. These have gone up on Target's website. I'm not sure if they're actually available yet. I think it's just a placeholder page. These have already started to hit physical stores. We've talked about these before. This first wave has Groundskeeper Willie, Otto, Homer, and Bart Simpson. So we also have the official images for these. So I'm assuming other places besides Target will end up carrying these, but right now Target seems to be the place to go, and I'm guessing they will be available for purchase online in the fairly near future if you don't want to try and hunt around for them at your local Target store. But again, they have people have started to find them at local Target. More Hot Toys, another Joker figure. So like I said, they showed off a ton of figures today. Hiya Toy showing off another G.I. Joe figure. So this is a 4-inch figure. This is the Crimson Guardsman. Basically just kind of a shrunk down version of the classified figure that Hasbro gave us. Has the black faceplate. Sword looks pretty good. Of course, these figures are not offered at US-based e-tailers. So you have to, basically go to someplace that imports them, like a Robot Kingdom. But again, Crimson Guard Soldier is now coming from Hiya Toys. Also from Hiya Toys, Operation Contra. So some Contra figures, Bill and Lance. And these are 6-inch figures, so 112 scale figures. This is a sneak peek, so we'll probably be getting more information on these at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know when these will go up for pre-order, but if you are a fan of the original Contra video game, these are something you might want to check out. And again, these are 6-inch figures. So was it NECA that did some figures a couple years ago from Contra? But those were 7-inch. So if you wanted some 6-inch, these are something you might want to check out. Like I say, we'll probably get more details on these this weekend at Comic-Con. For you Puppet Master fans, NECA has a new figure, Leech Woman and the Puppet Case. So it's been a while since we've gotten anything for the Puppet Master line, but a new 7-inch figure. The case. And of course, these other figures were previously offered from NECA. So you can pre-order this now at Big Bad Toy Store. It's about $65, so it does have a bit of a hefty price, but you're kind of getting multiple figures with this. Let me verify that. No, I take that back. The other figures are sold separately. You get the Leech Woman, 2 alternate heads, 2 interchangeable heads, knife, leeches, brain matter, the puppet case, and mask ornament. So you'd have to get the other figures from NECA to go in the case if you wanted to, which looks like these two, Pinhead and Tunnler, which were released a while ago, are sold out at Big Bad. I haven't looked at Entertainment Earth. Entertainment Earth has not put this up for pre-order yet, but they likely should soon. I don't know what's up with some of these sporadic pre-orders that we're getting, but that's let's see. I think that's pretty much it. Judge Dredd says, I'm pretty sure I just bought a superpower skull ship on Amazon. The skull ship is different from the crowdsourcing thing, if that's what you're talking about. But yes, that went up a month or so ago. The Brainiac ship and was it the Bat Whirly and something else? Oh, Blue Beetle's ship. Storm Rising says loves it. Talking about the Puppet Master, I'm assuming. Floor Boss says, I don't understand the crowdsourcing model. Via limiting the time to such a small window, especially McFarlane, what's the rush? Put 125 days on it. I don't get it. I guess, well, if you're not, I will tell you the DC Superpower thing was kind of a weird thing to crowdsource. I don't know why they went that route on that one. As far as the medieval Spawn, now, I will tell you at least what they told us a year ago, literally a year ago at San Diego Comic-Con last year, which was the last time they talked about the medieval Spawn. Todd had said something about the delay, and keeping in mind that the figure was originally announced to be coming, I want to say 2 years before that, or at the very least a year before that. But basically Todd had said that they didn't want to have a long pre-order window, meaning like you back it and then you don't get the figure for like a year. So he basically said they had already moved forward with the production of the figure, so that when it went up, basically from the time you back it, shortly, when the campaign ends, assuming it's successful, they would start shipping it out almost immediately. Now that kind of defeats the purpose of a crowdsourcing, because crowdsourcing is supposed to be, you get the money first so that you can then move into production with it, and then it gets made and then it gets shipped out to you. So again, I don't know why they're doing a crowdsourcing for something like that, especially if they've already made it and it's ready to be released. Because what, are they not going to release it if it doesn't reach its minimum number? That would seem very strange. So I don't know. I trying to find logic in what some of these toy companies do is very difficult sometimes. So I really don't know. I really don't have an answer for you there. Maybe if Todd extends interview opportunity for any of us at Comic-Con, we can ask him. But I don't know. That one, both those things kind of have definitely kind of confused me. Road Pig John, hello JC, awesome news and always, man. Love the news format and your TNInews forum. Thank you, my friend. Which, remember, this week, starting on Wednesday, we've got the contest for the 2 Big Bad Toy Store contest, Marvelous News, Toy News International, for $200 store credits, not 100, but 200 each. You could win possibly both. And when you post during Comic-Con, while we're posting all the news and everything, talking about the stuff we're posting, you'll you'll get more entries into the drawing. So details on both those contests are in the video description. If you haven't already, please check it out. Also, if for whatever reason you have difficulty registering, which sometimes people like you have to register if you haven't already, and then you'll get a confirmation email, and sometimes those get stuck in like the spam folders. So for whatever reason you don't get a confirmation email, verification email, whatever you want to call it, after you register, just reach out. There's a way to contact us directly, and we'll get it straightened out for you. But definitely, if you want to try and win a decent amount of store credit, either 200 or, like I said, conceivably you could possibly win both contests and walk away with $400 store credits. This is the week to try it out, and because you're going to have a lot to talk about, and then the more you talk about it, the better your chances of winning are. So I don't see how you can beat that. So definitely check that out. Didn't some other artists also have some type of ownership of the medieval Spawn character? I'm going to say I have no idea. Honestly, it's possible, but I really don't know. I would think not if he's doing a crowdsourcing item, and I think Medieval Spawn has shown up in recent comics as well. But I honestly, that's not something I ever followed that closely. So I was, while I have all the original Spawn comics when they originally came out, because back then I was way gung ho into comics, and I was like, I loved all the Image artists, and so I was like, I'm going to buy all these Image comics, and they're one day going to be worth tons and tons of money. That wasn't why I was really buying. I was buying them because I was just a fan of the art of the time. But then when I started reading them, I really didn't like the stories in most of the Image comics, because while they were all great artists, most of them were not great writers, at least at that time. And so I don't know. I lost interest pretty quickly in Spawn, but I have most of those early issues. But I not followed Spawn throughout the years that closely. T'Challa, will the San Diego Comic-Con Once a Man Cobra Commander be available to non-Pulse members on Pulse? I cannot answer that definitively, because what Hasbro says is limited quantities will be available after the show on Hasbro Pulse. Whether they do the whole, we're going to give people who pay us an extra $50 an hour jump on everyone else, which they probably will do, but whether they actually have so many few that they're going to be selling that they'll sell out in that first hour, that I cannot answer. My guess is, going past years, they'll either do one of two things. If there's a really huge demand for it and they sell out through the inventory, then they'll flip over to a made to pre-order, so you might have to wait a little bit longer, but you would still end up getting the figure. And again, this is just an assumption based on what they've done in years past, but I cannot answer definitively, since I have no idea how many of the figure they made, how many they plan to sell at San Diego, how many they plan to sell online afterwards. I don't have those numbers. I do suspect they will probably do the whole premium members get an hour jump on everyone else, and then whatever's left, those who don't pay the $50 will have a shot at it. Years past, again, pretty much, if you were online that day, even if you weren't a premium member, you still had a shot at it. But again, I can't guarantee that. So that's kind of, why they're trying to entice you to pay the $50 so that you can ensure getting that stuff, which I don't really like that tactic. But again, that's kind of what they're doing. But oftentimes, again, going on past experience, they have made it available enough, that type of thing available enough for those who didn't pay the premium price. But this year they might, this is the first year in some time where they've actually started selling the exclusives again at the convention, as opposed to just doing a pre-order thing. So it's really hard to say. So I don't want to tell you to go buy, pay $50 to become a premium member, which honestly, for me, I'd be like, yeah, that's where I'm like, if I can't get it, I won't get it, but I'm not going to pay an extra $50 to try and get it. But that's just me. So you'll have to make that call yourself. But unfortunately, I don't think Hasbro is going to come out and tell us that how many they're going to be offering to give us an idea of how many will be available afterwards. So I guess if you absolutely have to have the figure and you want to ensure that you can get the figure, then you probably would want to pay the $50. But again, I wouldn't recommend it. I would take the chance that you'll still get an opportunity to get it, and then save yourself the extra money. But that's me. Like I say, you'll have to make that decision for yourself. Storm Rising, Rob Liefeld is a hack. Everything I've ever seen from him is a ripoff of some other character, except maybe Deadpool, which was never meant for kids. He's not my favorite guy in the world, but I don't know. Cable. I mean, he then created other characters that were a ripoff of Cable, but he was the one that kind of came up with that and X Force and stuff. So I give him some credit. Um, and despite like he's had some things that are really bad, like the Heroes Reborn Captain America image that's so notoriously you know bad out there that gets passed around. That's a horrible image, and he has issues with feet, but he's got some stuff. X Force, and I don't know if you can tell where you can see it, but like um, up there is an issue of X Factor where it's got Archangel fighting Sabretooth, which was drawn by Liefeld. It's an old issue, but that's always a cover that I really liked. So yes, it is. But it was like a joke. Like Deadpool was like a parody of Deathstroke, basically. So I want to say when Deadpool was first introduced, he was more serious than he is today. Like in those very early issues of New Mutants that he appeared. Um, I remember I have those issues, but I haven't gone back and read them in a long, long time. But I remember him being a more serious character. And then I mean, my favorite colors are red and black, so I always loved Deadpool's look more so than Deathstroke. Eric says he didn't get paid to do anatomy; he got paid to make comics. I think the most fair complaint about Liefeld was like, well, all even Todd in his early days, if you go back and you look at Todd McFarlane's earlier work in the comics DC and even some of the early Marvel stuff, there were definitely some things that were off with anatomy and stuff. But Todd improved over the years, whereas Liefeld, I'm not going to say hasn't improved over the years because he probably has, but not nearly to the degree that some of those other guys did. So they all kind of started out, and they all kind of, I mean, if you want to be absolutely honest, I mean, Todd was kind of the pioneer for that art style, which a lot of people ended up kind of mimicking, and frankly, got pretty famous doing so. Which I love that, that style of art. Some people hate it. I love it, but I look at comic book art today, and like I don't mean to pick on anyone, but most comics that I look at today, I'm not too impressed with the artwork. Um, Jason, well, Angela was definitely there was definitely some bad blood with that character. Was it Neil Gaiman? Um, basically, from what I've heard from secondhand sources, is Todd kind of stiffed Neil on payment when he started using that character in his comics, and then I think there was a lawsuit, and uh, Neil basically won and ended up selling, like, as kind of a fu to Todd over that whole situation. I think ended up selling the rights to Marvel for that character. I don't, and this goes for actors and any kind of artistic talent. I try not to look too deeply at these people because at the end of the day, they're all human beings. We like to imagine they're like these perfect people, and they're not. Some are worse than others. I mean, I'll use William Shatner, who, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I love Captain Kirk. He's a very inspirational character to me. But I've also, watched William Shatner, the person, to know that William Shatner, the person, and the character he created are two very different things. So, William Shatner is a bit of an a-hole, and that, depending on who you ask, is kind of a bit mild statement. And, it doesn't take away my love of Captain Kirk, but it's why, I recognize that William Shatner is not Captain Kirk. And so, I can distinguish the character from the actor or the artist or anything. So I can respect the artwork from anybody, but it's why I don't, you're not going to usually find me standing in a long line to get an actor's autograph. I generally don't put actors or celebrities up on pedestals. They're just people like you and I. Even when, like, you guys come up to me at like a show and like you're like, oh, I love your videos and stuff, which that happens far more than I have, realize would ever happen. But you know, I don't see myself as some type of celebrity. If I'm providing you information, I think that's great, but I'm really no different than you guys. Just a Joe Schmo. And are there things I've done that are ash-hole-ish in my life? Probably. I think overall I'm a pretty well-rounded guy, but, I'm sure, you could find something that I did or said that was not cool at some point in my life. So I just try to, unless they're committing murder or, something really heinous, like some type of really heinous crime, I generally try not to convolute whatever it is that person has created on screen or in a comic or whatever with who they really are as a person. That's why when, like, I don't follow gossip news, I don't really care when an actor gets married, or broken up or whatever. That's their business, and I really don't care. But Monkey Jeebus Shatner is awesome. He's only sci-fi hero because Hamill is crazy. Well, Hamill is very political, so I'm sure Mark Hamill, he's very left and he's very political. So at least these days on social media. So I'm sure anybody who's on the right of the political spectrum cannot stand Mark Hamill because, he's very far left, as many people in Hollywood are. But Shatner can just be an a-hole sometimes. And I mean, he's had conflicts with all the members of the original Star Trek cast at some point or another in his life. If you watch him on Twitter, I mean, he's kind of toned it down in the past year or so, but he would used to go off on people. I mean, it was just like, and again, I don't know Shatner personally, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's a horrible guy by any shape or form. But it's just, you see enough that it's like, he definitely, I don't think, is an inspiration of a character that he portrays with Captain Kirk. So, and like I say, we're all people, we're all infallible. We all make mistakes at some point or other. If you think anybody's perfect, or any celebrity's perfect, or 100% good or 100% bad, you're probably wrong. I mean, that's just how I see it. And I know we're getting way off topic here, so Storm Rising, Tiamat just looks like a giant dust collector. I'm still waiting to hear on the price on that one. I think it looks good. I mean, it's not articulate. It's not super articulated for you Dungeons and Dragons fans. The Super 7 dragon multi-head dragon, but I think it looks good. But I am not. I like the original cartoon. I played a little D&D when I was a kid, but I'm not like this super gung ho Dungeons and Dragons fan. So, am I going to pay hundreds of dollars for a non-articulated dragon? Probably not, but I'm sure there are some people out there who will. Yeah, I mean, there's very little doubt in my mind that that's going to be cheap in any way. I mean, the question isn't whether it's going to be expensive, it's how expensive is it going to be. And I think I haven't watched it all myself, but somebody told me Brian Flynn in the latest Veebs interview over on the Robo Don't Know channel, um, that Flynn maybe hinted to the fact that that might be some type of crowdsourcing thing. So I don't know. That's not really how they portrayed it when they announced it, but I don't know. I'm debating whether I want to collect the Ultimate Animated Series D&D figures. Like I got the Hasbro ones, which I'm actually pretty happy with. You know, they were quite affordable and they're not perfect, but but I felt like they were decent enough for me. So I'm still debating whether I want to, if I going to consider getting any of those Ultimate Dungeons and Dragon figures. I guess I'm assuming they're going to show them off this weekend at Comic Con. So also real Ghostbusters. We're probably those 6-inch real Ghostbuster figures from Mondo should. I imagine we're going to get our first look at those this weekend. So I know a lot of Ghostbuster fans are waiting to see those. Monkey Jeebus, Jonah Hex with his horse, the General, sold as a adult. Well, yeah, it's only sold. It's a McFarlane store exclusive, so I don't think too many kids are shopping on the McFarlane store. What was that, like $75, something like that? T'Challa says, I predict Mephisto for Marvel Legends at San Diego. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, we're getting Blackheart. You think they give us Blackheart and Mephisto in the same year? I think they would spread them out. I don't think we'll see Mephisto this year. I'm not saying he won't come, but I'd be surprised if we saw him at San Diego. Maybe, but Blackheart and Mephisto in the same year. I don't know. That would be unusual for Hasbro. We know how Hasbro likes to drag things out. So, yeah. If we see X Force Feral figure, I'd be happy with that. Or Excalibur Phoenix, that I would love to see. Jason says Scarlet Spider is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store for anyone still needing that one. But yeah, those are probably the ones I'd like to see the most. But I think we might see those Secret Wars anniversary Marvel Legend figures. Which with that, I'm really interested to see what the packaging is going to look like. Whether we're going to get the Mattel style Secret Wars packaging or not. So I think there's a decent chance we will see that because that's coming out at least based on the distributor list. That's coming out at the very end of the year, like December time frame. So maybe more Deadpool stuff. I'm thinking we'll probably see more Deadpool stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, so I'm gonna go just quickly go over some things for Comic Con. So preview night is Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So for those of you on the East Coast, you either need to stay up late or check it out the next morning. But preview night, so we'll see probably most of NECA's stuff at preview night. Mezco, Jada Toys, Mondo. We might get our first look at the Mondo Real Ghostbusters on preview night. Hasbro probably won't have much out on preview night. Probably maybe those Deadpool those Deadpool movie figures, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot new from Hasbro on preview night. Same with Mattel. Mattel. Well, Mattel might have a few. I don't really know. I don't have a feel for how much new stuff we're going to see from Mattel for like Masters of the Universe and such. So that's a hard one to call. McFarlane. I don't know about McFarlane. Like McFarlane doesn't have his own booth, but I think his stuff will be out at the DC and Image Comic booths. So, and he's got 2 panels. So let me So he's got Todd's got his own panel on Thursday where it's going to be a mix of movie, comic, some toy maybe. But then the main McFarlane toy panel is going to be taking place on Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So that was like a last minute addition, I think, because that wasn't on the schedule when they originally released it. But it's called the McFarlane Toy Multiverse panel. So again, he's got a panel, his own panel on Thursday, which we might get if he's going to announce the medieval Spawn. It'll probably be at that panel. But I suspect for like DC and such, the main reveals are going to come on Friday. So 10:30 Pacific time is when that is. And then, Thursday's G.I. Joe. So the big thing on Thursday is going to be the Haslab is going to be officially announced. Still not sure if it's going to be in the morning or at night during the panel, but I'm leaning towards morning. I just feel like it would be very odd for them to wait until like 9 o'clock at night for those of you on the East Coast to announce that. So I feel like that's going to be in the morning, probably around 11 o'clock is when that's going to launch. But then Friday, Marvel Legends. That's when we'll get the majority of our Marvel Legend reveals. That's 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars panel for Hasbro, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. 12:30 Marvel Legends Pacific Time. Star Wars is 2 o'clock Pacific Time. Transformers is 6 p.m. Pacific Time. There's a Toys of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel on Friday. But then on Saturday, also for you Turtle fans, Playmates is going to have a panel, collectible figures and more from Playmates Toys. That's on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Yeah, Saturday is when that is. That's like the only really main. Oh, Jazzwares is going to have a panel on Saturday as well. So for AEW, things like that, we'll get some reveals. 12:30 p.m. Those are really the only 2 main toy panels on Saturday. So Saturday is very light for panels. Thursday and Friday are kind of the big days for the toy panels. And Sunday is just, I'll be flying home on Sunday. So I won't even really be at Comic-Con on Sunday. So not really much goes on Sunday. Maybe occasionally Hasbro will throw out a little tease or something in their booth. But Sunday, really not much in the way of news. It's kind of where everyone's wrapping up and heading for home. So, but Wednesday night, a lot of stuff. You're going to see a ton of pictures of stuff starting to hit. It'll start 6 o'clock p.m. is when the doors officially open. But there's always vendors who get in early that start sneaking out pictures earlier in the day. So that'll probably happen. That's always a given. And then, again, Friday. Oh, Thursday. Also, Thursday morning, starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time, Hasbro's going to be holding a special press event. They always do this every year. So we will get a few reveals from Hasbro that'll be our first kind of reveals from Hasbro, is at that press event. So that again is Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. And we'll get a couple things from Marvel Legends, probably G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers. So they usually have something, at least one new thing, if not more, for each brand. So that will be happening Thursday morning. So that will really be, like I say, I don't really expect a whole lot Wednesday from Hasbro, but Thursday morning with that event, and then G.I. Joe, Haslab, and some other G.I. Joe classified reveals on Friday. Mattel with Masters of the Universe, WWE. McFarlane has his one panel. So, Thursday will be pretty busy. And then Friday again is all the main Hasbro panels other than G.I. Joe and some of the other companies as well. So, Thursday and Friday, Wednesday night, Thursday and Friday will really be your big, that's when you're going to see the most of your reveals happen. So from the various companies. So, and then, like I say, Saturday, there'll be a few things, but it'll start to quiet down. And then Sunday, there generally is not much on Sunday. Hey, what's up, X? All right, well, we've actually run a little late, but I think we're going to wrap it up here. But if any of you guys are going to Comic-Con, and you do see me, feel free to come up and say hi. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I may have like a TNI or Marvelous News shirt on. I might not. I don't know. But like I say, if you see me wandering around one of the booths, like I say, if you're going yourself, then feel free to say hi. For everybody else, please keep it to the websites. Again, we've got the contests. We've got, we're going to have lots of news. I will have some videos up later this week from Comic-Con. So hopefully you'll check all of that out. And as always, guys, your support, whether it's the sites, whether it's here, what have you, it's always much appreciated. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be an exciting week with lots of cool stuff. So, and I'm sure, next week we'll be talking about it all in more detail. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave it there, but stay safe out there. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to toynewseye.com, marvelousnews.com, JediInsider.com, and tformers.com. And remember, action figures are great,